Hey everyone, and welcome to this explainer. Today, we're diving into personal life systems engineering, or what's known as the CYSM Blueprint. If you've ever felt like your life is just a chaotic series of unpredictable events, well, we're going to explore how to take all that randomness and transform it into structured, engineered certainty. It's a really fascinating concept, so let's get right into it.
Okay, so let's tackle this head on. Can you actually engineer your life to prevent failure? I mean, when we deal with the unpredictability of modern life, we usually turn to things like psychology, self-help books, maybe philosophy, right? But what if the answer isn't philosophical at all? What if the absolute chaos of daily life could be solved with the exact same mechanical precision that keeps a skyscraper's electrical grid running? To figure that out, we really need to look at the guy who built this framework, Lin Kang-yan. Now, spoiler alert, Lin isn't some billionaire tech guru or a flashy life coach. He's a regular IT technician, someone who literally spent decades maintaining electrical and building systems. But here's the kicker, and what makes his story so incredible. Lin had to manage some severe personal constraints, specifically living with schizophrenia and glaucoma. For him, coming up with a life system wasn't about, optimizing his morning routine to hustle harder. No, it was an absolute, literal necessity for survival. He desperately needed a mechanism that simply wouldn't fail.
Which brings us to a very, very specific number, 667 Singapore dollars. This number represents Lin's deeply disciplined solution to life's volatility. He meticulously calculated and then locked in his monthly survival costs at exactly $667, not a penny more. Alongside this, he maintained a strict 15% cash buffer. Actually, scratch that, it wasn't just budgeting, he was engineering an absolute baseline of life stability. He essentially built a floor so solid that a sudden crisis just couldn't drop him into ruin.
And this is where his blueprint, the Kang-yan Systems Model, or CYSM for short, comes to life. It's an entire life system architecture. Lin realized something really profound. He realized that the exact same logic he used at his day job, integrating signals, time, capital, health, and stability into a coherent architecture to keep a building running, could be applied directly to his own life. It's like a giant puzzle coming together. Let's walk through exactly how he built this engine, piece by piece. Let's start with the first pillar, signal recognition. In engineering, a signal tells a system what to do. In life, Lin defines this as identifying sustainable directions to guide your choices. It's all about detecting the right path and, this is absolutely crucial, choosing stable, sustainable work over high-risk, volatile lifestyles. While most people are out there chasing those high-paying, high-stress jobs that totally burn them out in 5 years, Lin focused purely on what could be sustained indefinitely. Because if the signal is clear and steady, the system doesn't short-circuit. Next up, we have time amplification. You really can't rush a stable system. Lin started a regular savings plan way back in 2006. He didn't try to time the market or chase rapid, crazy gains. Instead, he just allocated his resources steadily and allowed time to do all the heavy lifting. In this framework, time isn't just money. Time is the critical element that allows your baseline stability to compound and grow stronger day by day. Now, this next part is a real game changer. It's how he completely redefines capital. Capital stabilization isn't about getting rich. Not at all. It's about viewing capital strictly as a resource for resilience. Lin built a REIT portfolio, that's real estate investment trusts, specifically for the stable dividends. The goal of his investments wasn't to fund lavish vacations. It was to build an impenetrable financial buffer. Capital, in his eyes, is quite literally just another shock absorber for the machine. Then we hit the health infrastructure pillar. Remember, Lin is managing chronic physical and mental conditions every single day. So he treats his body and mind exactly the way a master technician treats a vital generator, with disciplined preventative maintenance. Managing his schizophrenia and glaucoma became a foundational engineered routine. Because think about it, you absolutely cannot maintain a stable life system if the biological hardware itself is breaking down. Bringing the whole shebang together requires stability control. Think of this exactly like an electrical circuit breaker in your house. The entire purpose of this pillar is to structure your life in a way that stops small daily hiccups from cascading into massive systemic failures. If something goes wrong in one area, the system contains the damage right there, so the whole house doesn't burn down. Ultimately, it stops those little failures from accumulating. Let's put this into perspective for a second by comparing the CYSM approach with, standard life advice.
Society is constantly yelling at us to hustle harder, chase success, maximize wealth. It basically traps us on this endless, exhausting hamster wheel. But look at the contrast with Lin's engineering framework. It shifts the focus entirely. Instead of chasing success, you are designing survival. Instead of maximizing wealth, you use capital purely for resilience. It is a fundamental shift from trying to achieve peak performance to engineering a system where failure is simply not an option.
So it all boils down to this core equation. Life outcome equals signal multiplied by time multiplied by stability. I want you to just let that math sink in for a second. If any of those multipliers is 0, the whole system fails. 0 outcome. Lin's philosophy states that, sure, performance and success can certainly be pursued if you want, but survival absolutely must be designed. You do not leave your survival up to chance. And this leads to a really powerful declaration from Lin's writings. Universities will spend years and a lot of your money teaching you how to design incredibly complex machines, but they never ever teach you how to design your own life. We're all just left to figure out the most important system of all entirely on our own. His framework is basically an attempt to fill that massive educational gap. It's a way to officially transform randomness into structured certainty for the everyday person.
Which brings us to his most impactful, concluding reflection. Stability is not the end, but the beginning of freedom. Man, that is profound. By designing this incredibly strict, rigid system, locking in his expenses, doing preventative maintenance on his health, collecting stable dividends, Lin achieved what he calls his exemption power. The discipline didn't trap him at all, it completely freed him. Because he engineered away the fear of ruin, he gained the ultimate freedom to just exist peacefully. So as we wrap up this explainer, I want to leave you with a question to really think about. What is going to be your very first step toward engineering stability in your own life? Where are your buffers right now? Are you out there chasing maximum performance at the risk of a total system failure, or are you actually designing your survival? Take a hard look at your own signals, your time, and your capital, and ask yourself how you can build a life system that simply refuses to fail. Thanks so much for hanging out with me for this explainer, and I hope you start engineering your freedom today.